Rekha, you can record. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Today we are going to see a very special chapter, which is chapter 14. Why am I calling it special? Is because this particular chapter gives us a lot of jnana, lot of knowledge to travel our material world, right? Every one of us would have had this question, right? Why me? And mainly, like, why is this person behaving so differently, so indifferently? Both the extremes. If someone is too good, also we'll be thinking, oh my God, this person is so good. Is it too good to be true? And if the person is so bad, how can the person be so bad, right? So now let's understand what influences each one of us and how does the role play in our life, right? So before we start this session, let's start with Mangalacharni. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Anyanatyamirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swabadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hare Hare Rama 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 Hari Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hare Hare Rama 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 Hari Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hare Hare Rama 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 Hari Hare. Yes, so let's start our journey to our another set of jnanas, right? So we will, today it's called the three modes of material nature. So it's called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So Guna means modes, right? Qualities. It also means rope. Rope is also called Guna. So it's like we are being controlled like the rope, right? It's a small chapter, but is a very enlightening chapter. So what is it talking about? The liberation and conditioning of the living entities, right? So, so various aspects are discussed here in this. So the first thing it talks about how the living entities can get liberated, right? And second thing is and how it is being conditioned. The three modes by the pure soul, right? How do they bind the pure soul, right? We say the soul is spiritual, everlasting, it's pure. But then how do they come under the influence and how do they bind? Supremacy of the modes, right? Who is supreme? Which is more powerful? Acting, right? Acting means karma. What do we do on the modes? And when we die, what happens, right? Resulting. And transcending the modes, the most important, right? We always saw Trigunya Vishya Vega, Nishtraigunyo Jan Bhavarjunan, Nidvandyo Nitya Satvasto, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. So he says he wants to go about the modes. You should go is what he is advising Arjuna. So what will help him to go about the modes is what we are talking about. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you can start reading 14.1.
Hare Krishna. The blessed Lord said, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling that again I'm going to declare the supreme wisdom, right? Because he already spoke he's been giving him so much of knowledge, jnana, right? And he's telling again I'm going to give you this wisdom, of which this is the best, right? He's saying it's best, and knowing this you will be attaining supreme perfection. Why? We are having one challenge of this perfection. What is perfection? First, perfection is understanding about myself, self-realization. Supreme perfection is reaching Krishna. How can you do that? When you understand, your first level of perfection. I am not the body, I am the soul. But how will you be able to reach I am not the body, I am the soul? Right? By knowing the qualities of another person. So this jnana helps us why people behave differently, which includes us, why we behave differently. Right? Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, not disturbed at the time of dissolution.
Hare Krishna. Very beautifully you're reading. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So he's saying that by becoming fixed in the knowledge, right? By knowing this jnana, right? He can automatically reach this transcendental nature, which means what? His transcendental abode, right? He's talking about the spiritual world, right? And he says this particular transcendental nature, right? Whatever nature, the qualities you get, we already have read. If Krishna has 100% qualities, Brahma has 78% of that. And we can come close to that. We can reach up to 78%, right? Which is going to be very similar to Krishna's nature itself, right? Thus, by that, a person does not get born. Why? Because he's going to be in this Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha. Now, what is the speciality over there? They will have all in Goloka Vrindavan, and that is in Vaikuntha. Everybody has exactly the same qualities as that of the Krishna. Same looks also. So everybody is so beautiful, energetic, same age, and there is absolutely no change at all, right? So that is a speciality. Hare Krishna. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti te tasam brahma mahid yonir aham bija pradhapita. Hare Krishna.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Hare Krishna. So beautifully he's saying that he is the seed-giving father, right? Bija means seed. And what does he say? He says that all the species of life, right? O son of Kunti is Arjuna. All of them. See, how many species are there? Do you remember? I already told how many species are there?
84 lakh.
Perfect. Thank you. 84 lakh species are there. So he is the father for all the 84 lakh species, varieties, right? Number of souls will be more, but the species varieties are 84 lakh. So he is just telling that he is a seed-giving father, right? Bijam. So now what is he going to talk about? He's going to start off straight away with the qualities, right? And the mode of goodness is Sattvam. And he's starting with that. Hare Krishna. Sattvam Rajas Tamas iti Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadnanti Mahabhaho Dehinam Avyayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Material nature consists of the three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
So he's very clearly telling that the material nature consists of all three modes, which is goodness, passion, ignorance, right? Mode of goodness, we already saw sattva, passion, rajo, and tamo is ignorance. The moment the living entities comes in contact with prakriti, which is nature, all these conditions start adding, right? We keep asking, when will this happen? So he's clearly saying the moment you come in, this one has an influence, right? How you can see, like the puppet show, where it's controlled by the hands and you can see in the picture on the right and also on the screen behind. So it is majorly controlled by the three modes is what he is telling. So let's understand, this is very simplified. Yesterday chapter was heavy. So this is all video, visual graphics. So you will understand very clearly. So in 14.6, he says, Hare Krishna, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatva Prakasakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Badnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga. Hare Krishna.
O sinless one, the modes of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness.
So now they are telling, right? So how can conditioning be applied for mode of goodness? Mode of goodness is so good. Though Krishna is telling raise above the three modes, why is Krishna telling mode of goodness is so good, right? This is what will be in our mind. So what he is saying is they are situated in knowledge, but the very concept that they are very knowledgeable itself makes them, have that ahankar, and therefore that makes them get comfort zone at that, and they get very enlightened and they're very over happy with that, and therefore they become materially attached. By being in mode of goodness, they feel, okay, this is the best knowledge and I'm going to be, attached here. Is what is a decision which they make, right? So that is what he is. Very nice, right? So he's telling air is lean, so everything is nice. So, we can stay a healthy life. It's a mode of goodness. But still the fact that, they have so much knowledge and they're content with that gives them that air. That's what they are saying. Hare Krishna. So let's see Rajoguna, right? What does Rajoguna say? Hare Krishna. Rajo Ragatmaka Vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Tannibadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. Hare Krishna.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is he saying? The mode of goodness is influenced by unlimited desires, right? Your desires are unlimited. It just goes on and you never get sanctified. There is nowhere you will feel satisfaction because your list for desire, is on and you will never be content with that desire list, right? So that is going to keep you bound in this material world. I love money, I love education, I love position, I need prestige. We feel, oh, this is bad. But I love my daughter, I love my son, I love my husband. These are very right? This is what we feel. But end of the day, they are all desires which keep us bound, right? Whether you like money or whether it's about money or whether it's about a person, right? Eventually, both are material, right? So that is what Krishna is saying. Hare Krishna. So let's have a feel of it. All those motivational speakers will fall in this category. So what is happening is the mode of passion, right? It is always born with unlimited desire, right? So therefore, you can see anyone who says, just do it. Okay, you can make it. This will happen. All that style, that body language, you can now relate. They are in the rajas, right? Mode of passion. So now if these two are like this, then what is tamas? Hare Krishna. Tamas vannanya jam vitti mohanam sarva dehinam Pramadalashya nidrabhi Dhannibadnati Bharata.
O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
So beautiful. So he's telling that tamas, okay, jnana means knowledge, anyana means opposite of that, right? Vidya, avidya. And he says, because of that lack of knowledge, what happens? He's in his own delusion, mohanam, right? So he's thinking of something else and therefore he will be in his own world. And because of which, what happens? What are the result of that, right? Madness and sleeplessness, sleep, right? You'll have extensive sleep. You'll be sleeping both in the mode of ignorance. You'll sleep without knowledge. You'll do whatever you want. Also, you'll be sleeping. These people generally actually are also long sleepers, right? Let's hear. Hare Krishna. So very clearly they're telling the mode of ignorance causes delusion, right? And so therefore, you can see this, right? And while this mode of ignorance is there, can you see mode of rajas and mode of sattva, right? Are also coming close, trying to say that, can I take over you, right? But unfortunately, they are so deeply in sleep of ignorance that they don't want to, win over or give chance for them. That is why Arjuna is called Kudakesha, which means not only someone who can overcome sleep, sleep also refers to this mode, which is tamas, which is mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanam avirtyatu tamaha pramade sanjayati Hare Krishna.
The mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions him to the fruits of action, and ignorance to madness.
So clearly they're saying what are the various ways in which these are conditioned, right? Mode of goodness they're saying is conditioning one to happiness, right? You saw, right? He's happy, it's he's settled, he's very excited and he enjoys because he's anyway in goodness and therefore he enjoys a lot of happiness. So he wants to stay here. Passion ties him with palam, fruits. So he wants to stay in the material world. Ignorance is utter madness. Therefore, he won't even understand what is Goloka or Vaikuntha. So he stays here. He has no other choice. So how each of these are influencing to stay here is what we are seeing here. Hare Krishna. You can now read this. Hare Krishna. Please read. Hare Krishna, 14.1.
Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata, and sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
There is a fight, right? Who is the winner? Who is the loser? So he says sometimes goodness wins because goodness wants to overtake. Sometimes passion wins and sometimes ignorance wins, right? Even ignorance is very powerful, right? And that takes a success over this and defeating these two. So there is constant fight among the three modes. Even when ignorance was prevailing, you see mode of goodness and passion is trying to put its nose, right? So that keeps happening. So this is a very important point, right? Even when you are in goodness, the other two will poke its nose. So what should we do and what is the solution and why is it happening? Right? So we are going to see this. This is the situation, right? We are pulled in all three directions by all three modes and mind is our friend or enemy is a decision now. So mind cannot decide. So let's make the intelligence more powerful than the mind. That's what we are doing by japa, right? Because we want to strengthen the intelligence so intelligence can control the mind, right? And therefore pull towards goodness. Hare Krishna. 14.11.
The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
So we know we have 9 gates, right? Eyes, ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, and your ejaculations once. So totally constituting to 9 gates, right? And if all of them are loaded, abundant with knowledge, what happens? Mode of goodness prevails. So therefore, first thing is jnana, because if you really have jnana, you won't do a foolish thing. For Ekadasi, what happens is every time we tell fast. If you go and understand the purpose of Ekadasi, spiritually or scientifically, right? Either ways, you will first do is, you'll understand what are the effects which are bad if you do eat rice or wheat or grains on Ekadasi. So that will give you the knowledge. Now, what is happening? Because we don't have knowledge, we may still do because our parents have told us, right? But what comes to us when it comes to children? Hey, I am only fasting, poor children. Why should the child do when she's hardly 10 year, 12 year? But when we know it is very unhealthy for a child to eat on that particular day, the first thing you will do is don't take. Right? Don't take. You will take care of the child, right? It's like you're feeding something poisonous to the child. Will you think, oh, child loves poison, we must give it to the child. Oh, child loves knife. Let me buy her a set of knives to play. No, right? The problem is because of lack of knowledge, we are not illuminated enough to even understand and follow, and hence we can't sustain. Even if we sustain for whatever sentiment, we are not able to be successful in making someone do it because we are having avidya. We don't have knowledge. Hare Krishna. 14.12.
O chief of Bharatas, where there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop.
He is telling that when we are in the mode of passion, what happens is so much attachment. As I told, it can be money, right? It can be a drink or it can be a woman, right? Opposite gender. The anchoring is so deep, it's so intense, right? And you want to it's so uncontrolled and you just can't do anything and you'll do anything to ensure that you get it. The limit is never set. For example, if someone who's getting a 90% wants 95 wants to get 100 mark, right? Same with money. If somebody is a 500 crore person, he wants 1000 crore, 1000 crore, 2000 crore, 2000 crore, 10,000 crore. It goes on and on. There is no limit or end to this. So that is what he is saying. Hare Krishna. 14.30.
Son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested.
So what is he saying? If you're somebody who is in the mode of ignorance, right? If that increases, what happens? Inertia means no action, not doing anything. That's why we say Krishna conscious is not inertia. It's right, full of action. Absolutely no activity. Illusion is, you're imagining so many things, right? And there is only darkness. Why? Where there is absence of light is darkness, as I told you. And this one is clearly talking about darkness because there is no light here. Hare Krishna.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets.
Hare Krishna. Now we are going to talk about death in the various modes, right? Now, in the mode of goodness, if someone dies, pious activities, good things he do, right, he will go into higher, planets. Now, this is a very nice picture of Narada Dev. And what has happened is Prajapati, that is, Brahma creates Daksha and he tells Daksha, he makes him a Prajapati. That means manufacturer of kids, right? He's telling him to have kids. He has 10,000 kids and sends them to Narada to take blessings. And Narada preaches about material life, sannyasi, God, Krishna conscious and all. And immediately at once, all of them take sannyasi, right? So that is what happens and everybody gets moves into sannyasi order of life. So this is a nice story. And let's see what is 14.15 to say. Hare Krishna. In the mode of passion.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Very clearly he says, if someone dies in the mode of passion, what happens, right? He is engaged in fruitive activity. And if he dies in the mode of ignorance, right? So what happens? He takes birth in the animal kingdom. So very clear, when you do good activity, pious activity, you go to Swargaloka, right? So every time we tell we go to heaven, Swargam you will go is not the end of destination. But if somebody does very bad, we know there are 28 hells. You go there, serve your notice, and then come back to as an animal life. And if someone is very fruitily engaged, right, and neither bad nor good, but fruitively more attached to fruits, what happens? He gets into the mode of, he comes back into a human, and gets attached to people among that, like a merchant or a businessman, so that he will engage himself more into fruitive activities, right? Why is it coming especially in mode of ignorance? These pictures are all representing mode of ignorance. So if you take someone who wants to sleep, the best of sleep is a bear. Because bear goes into hibernation, right? It can endlessly sleep for hours together. So that is a classic example, and you can't even beat the bear. So, you're gifted the body of a bear, so you can enjoy sleep, which you don't enjoy here, right? For us, after a few hours of sleep, we'll roll this side, that side. Same way, if someone wants to be undressed, right? Then you're lucky to get a body of a tree because you don't have to wear any dress, right? So that is what is preached. And someone eats very abominable things, not really good meant for human. Then the right person who can enjoy that is a pig. Who can enjoy food more than a pig? Because pig can even enjoy a stool, right? So that kind of a body is gifted to us in the next birth. So that is what they have explained in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna. Karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam palam rajasastu palam dukkham Ajnanam tamasah plalam. Hare Krishna.
By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion result in distress, and actions performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness.
So very clearly he is saying, right, if anybody does in the mode of goodness, you'll get purified. But if you're in passion, you will get distress. And if you're in ignorance, it's very foolish, right? So you see a picture, right? Somebody, what are the works which are done acting in the mode of goodness? He'll go to temple, he'll get up early, listen to Mangalati. All this, will make you more pure. Chanting, right? It cleans the heart. But somebody in mode of passion is the result of our world becoming a concrete jungle, right? And if you're in the mode of ignorance, you just don't have, right? Even a chance to climb the steps. Forget the elevator. Even the chance to climb the steps for you is closed, right? So there is no way upward at all. So that is where you're stuck. This picture is so beautiful, right? Can you see the same person in three modes for both the faces? And it's not very far from us. If we take picture of us when we are very angry or very sad, trust me, I used to have a devotee who used to tell, go before the mirror when you feel sad or when you feel angry. And that time I realized, when you see yourself before the mirror, you just don't like that face, right? You want to have a face which is far our original self, which is more of Shant or goodness, right? We want to relate ourselves to that. So when you want to relate yourself, when you see the mirror, won't you feel that is the quality you want to relate? So, let's see 14.17 what it says, right? From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. And from passion, grief develops. And from ignorance, foolish madness and illusion develop, right? So we are just seeing what is all the modes which are developing, right? Real jnana comes there, and passion, you know what happens? Pain. You have to promise trauma, and in ignorance, you're struggling with foolishness. So this is what this picture is also about. All three phases are depicted here. So 14.18, Hare Krishna. Urdvam gachanti tattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunavritista ado gachanti dhamasaha. Hare Krishna.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the foolish worlds, to the hellish worlds.
So very clearly what they're telling, if you're in three modes, right? So they have told the destination, we already saw, right? They go to heaven, Swargaloka. In here, you come back to the earthly planets, right? You are born into a merchant family or a businessman. And those who are in the ignorance will go to the hellish ones, which we already saw as what it is said. So either the journey is upward or this way. So you can decide what way you want the journey to be. So this is the, our chart of where our one universe is, right? It's an expanded version of our universe. Now, if you see this particular version of our universe, do you understand very clearly one thing, that irrespective of whichever loka you are in, whether you go to Swarga Loka, you have to come back to the middle plan, you have to come back. You go to, hell, which is below, right? Below the Padala Loka, below the Patala and all of them. Still, after you go through experiencing, you come back and you take an animal body. So you have to come back, to here to experience this one, right? So that is what is happening. So Hare Krishna, 14.19.
Screen is not seen, Mataji. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know by my spiritual nature.
So very clearly he says, right? You see that there is nothing beyond the three modes, right? Nothing is beyond this particular mode. Then only then, you can, you'll be able to take it. For example, what does he say here, right? If you can really cross the three modes of nature, then that is the thing. We are seeing again and again, the three modes have an influence. When you can actually break the shackle, can you break it in the first place, right? Currently, we are not able to break because we are actually a surveyor of our mind. Now, what is the situation? We are at the moment having different types of shackle. For example, if we are in ignorance, we are having, an iron. It's made of iron. Whereas if in a mode of passion, maybe it's made of silver, and in the mode of goodness, maybe it's gold. But ultimately, do you want what difference it makes, right? If you are in a prison, whether the bars are made of iron or silver or gold, your freedom is what you need, right? You're going through the same trauma of being locked up. So now what are they saying? That you want to break this one, right? And transcend these modes, right? Is go above the modes. Then you will be able to see or know what is the spiritual nature of Krishna is, right? Only then you will be able to go to Goloka Vrindavan. To go there, first we have to break the shackle and go up and to the pure sattva quality. Then only we'll be able to see Krishna. Currently, we are all bonded here. We don't even have time to lift up and see him. Right?
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes,
he can be free.
He can become free from. I'm not able to see the screen.
Yeah, it's okay. It can be. He can become free from all the.
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
So very clearly he says, right? When somebody is able to free himself, right, from Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, forget about going to Swargaloka or forget about going to Vaikuntha. Of course, you will go. But even here, if somebody is like this, right, he will be enjoying this nectar itself. Because wherever he is, if he is somebody who can stay detached, he will be able to enjoy in this life itself. So let's see this video. It's a very nice video. Just Prabhupada's thing. Right? Govinda Adi Pudisha, all of you, many of you will be knowing, right? Brahma Samhita. These are prayers given by Brahma to Krishna. three modes, right? You go into a Suddha Sattva state that even here, you start enjoying and relishing. Hare Krishna. So 14.21.
Arjuna inquired, "O my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the modes of nature?"
Very beautiful question and very important for us, right, to know the answer. So you will see this is mirroring your 2.55 where Krishna talks about Sitadir Muni or a Dhira, right? He should have senses controlled, inside a tortoise, we read there, right? Same way, now what is happening? Arjuna is asking him, what will be the symptom, right? And who can actually transcend these modes? Because you're telling these modes are, Maya, which is your external energy. They are so powerful. And you're also telling that people are helplessly angling in these modes, right? So how can somebody be able to transcend these modes? How is it possible? So he's now going to explain the solution of how to. Now the biggest secret, he told, right, I'm going to give you the best of all knowledge. Why is it best? Because this mode is what is binding us. And the way you can break the chains, right? How can you break the shackles? This answer he is giving here. Hare Krishna. 13.22 to 25.
The blessed Lord said, "He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a cloud, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blames to be the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings, such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature."
Hare Krishna. He's talking about four main qualities, right? There are lots, but then he's just making it in short, right? So he's saying that somebody who, somebody who is the one who can actually go above these modes. How can he go above the modes? He's saying very clearly, somebody between pleasure and pain, he doesn't see a difference, right? Whether it's happiness or distress, problem or nothing, it's not bothering him. He does understand the difference between gold and a stone, but he doesn't see a difference. He understands this is gold. He's not dumb. He understands this is gold. He understands this is stone, but he doesn't see a difference. It's with equal eye he sees. There's no major difference for him. He doesn't care, right? Honor or dishonor, he is not carried away by that. Honor, someone appreciates me, wow. Someone criticizes me, no. Today we are in a platform where this is very important for us, right? Not everyone, but at least some of them, right? We are influenced. If someone disrespects us, we get very upset. If someone looks down on us, it becomes very upset. Especially if that someone happens to be, our family member, then the pain is even million times worse, right? So therefore he says that, by doing that, we will abandon, all the fruitive undertaking. We're going to abandon, and one more very important thing. You may forgive a friend when they make a mistake. You may even forgive an enemy. But what you can never do is we cannot treat a friend and a foe at the same level, right? We will give a difference, right? So if somebody is able to treat and go to that level, and that person is the one whom you should assume that has transcended the modes of nature. And who is this in one line? He's called the Uttamadhikari. He's called Sitadir Muni. He is the one who is the spiritual master. He is the one who is Dhira. So all these, and he is the Mahabharata. So all these names are given to this person, will be interchangeably used anytime during your thing, right? So therefore they are just mentioning this. And the previous one, sorry, should be 14.22. I'll have this corrected. Hare Krishna. And the 14.26. Hare Krishna. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Hare Krishna.
One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
So very clearly he says that one who is fully in devotional service, right? He's saying currently the modes, yes, the modes are his external energy, and it is very difficult to overcome because you are not fighting with some human, you're fighting with the power of Krishna. But how can you actually beat the three modes? there is only one way to beat the three modes, is to raise above the modes. How? By actually taking the power and help of the internal energy of Krishna, which can be done only through devotional service. So he's clearly saying that anyone who is in devotional service can break through this three modes, and therefore he comes to the level of Brahman. That means he's so elevated and goes to the next level, is what he is saying. So that is what he is saying, right? So that exactly is what he is talking about, how you can break the modes and go to the next level. And 14.27, what does he say? Hare Krishna. Brahmano hi pratistaham amritasya vyasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya shukasya ekantikasya cha. Hare Krishna.
And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness, and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal.
Hare Krishna. So he is very clearly saying that I am the cause. So many people have this doubt, right? Who is more powerful, whether it is the energy or the energetic? So, and someone told, no, it's common sense. Obviously, the energetic is more powerful, right? Energy is always subdued. But common sense is the thing which is not commonly available, right? That's the reason Bhagavad Gita has to be spoken by Krishna so many times. So now Krishna is now declaring, I am the impersonal Brahman, right? He himself is telling. So there is nothing more evident when Krishna himself tells. If I come and tell you, I like the color white, what more you need? Because I am telling you, right? And unlike, anything, Krishna does not have duality. He is very clear, right? So he himself is clearly telling that I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. That is a Brahma Jyoti. I am the reason for that, right? And, I'm in my, whoever understands this concept is immortal because he is a soul, and therefore we already saw the soul does not die, does not get withered, does not get moistened, cannot be cut, cannot be burned, right? Cannot be moistened, and therefore it is eternal and imperishable and immortal, right? So, and we have a spiritual body, right? So that is what is more important. We have a relationship, and you can't have a relationship with a person. We can't have a relationship with the light, right? We need to have a relationship with the person. And this, just like this, right? The light bulb here is burning, but there is a switch, right? Someone has to switch it on. It can be automatic, but automatic is also man-made, right? It's made by a person. So that is what they are talking about. So with this, we are done with this particular chapter. So very beautifully, we've learned the way in which we can break the shackles, right? And our idea is to break the shackles and do what? Right? Transfers the three modes and go to our spiritual kingdom, Goloka Vrindavan, right? That should be our idea, right? Hare Krishna. So with this, we'll end the chapter, and the recording you continue because we'll wait for the question answers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, devotees. Any question?
Hare Krishna.
Any question? Do you have any questions you can ask me? Any questions, not just in this chapter, but if you have any questions till now, so far, you can unmute yourself. I'll wait for 1 second. If there are no questions, we'll end the session. Can we end? Yeah, okay. So I'll end the session.
You were telling a story the other day. You said you will tell it at the end of the class, last before last class.
Can you
seeing the last picture, you said I will tell the story later because today I finished telling too many stories.
Okay, so I'll have to go back and check. If you remember the name, you can tell me. Otherwise, tomorrow I'll tell the story. Today I have to leave a little early, so I'll.
Okay, fine. No problem. No
just
problem.
have a function.
Tomorrow we'll do it. Okay.
Tomorrow I'll tell you. I have a story in my mind in any case to tell you. Meanwhile, if you figure out what story I was talking about, you can tell. But I have a story in mind to share in any case tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. Okay, fine.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone, and have a great day. We'll see again tomorrow, our Jnana.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Have a nice day.
Hare Krishna.